Okay, I've started the recording. Welcome to our first class, well, second class in High Academy for animation principles. So the first thing is, if you guys weren't there for last week, you guys can go over the syllabus. But today we're just gonna be talking about how to use TOONBOOM, as well. Okay, so we're gonna be using TOONBOOM. I'm gonna be teaching you how to use it, like the basics, and I'm also gonna be going over. Okay, maybe I should have turned off text to speech. It is. There you go. There you go. Okay. Yeah. 20. It should be 20. The newest one. I'm unsure for that. You gotta ask the IT, honestly. I am hands off. But for now, we're just gonna go over the basics of how to use TOONBOOM. And if you're not gonna be using TOONBOOM, obviously you wouldn't really be needing this. But I still am going over the 12 principles of animation. I'm going to discuss that. That's why I have my camera here, so I can act out some stuff. So, you guys know what the 12 principles of animation are, right? No. Do you at least know what they are? Like, do you know of it?
That one guy who made the stick figure animations.
There are so many stick
Okay,
figure
some.
animations.
Okay, so the 12 animation principles, those are going to be your friends for life.
Oh, yeah,
Especially
Alan
if you're
Becker.
going to stay inside animation, you'll be needing these 12 basic principles.
I
So
bought the
these
book.
are this is like the holy test, like the commandments of of animators. We use this constantly, even if you don't know that you are applying these rules, you are still using them.
Yep.
So, can someone name at least one animation principle?
Follow through.
Bro,
Follow through? Okay, that's one. That is one. Follow through and overlapping action. So those two.
Stretch.
Yeah. Yeah, squash and stretch. That's also one. So there's two now. What else?
Anticipation.
Y'all are just looking this up. Yeah, you better be not cheating.
I didn't cheat.
I know. I don't. At least I know some of the
Okay.
principles.
I have no idea, so I'm
Squash?
just mute.
Yeah, squash and stretch. That is one. You've already said it. Straight. So you've also said follow through and overlapping action, because those two go together, and I will explain each one individually. What's the next one that you guys said?
Anticipation.
Okay, anticipation. Yes. Okay, those are 3. 3 out of 12. What else?
Staging.
Yes, that's also one.
Parents, I swear to God, you're looking this
Exaggeration.
up.
Exaggeration.
What is that, Gail?
What?
You're looking this up. I swear.
I'm not even talking.
Exaggeration. What else? Okay, so we got 5. Come on, guys. If not, kung hirit na, I could just say the rest. Yeah.
The arc thing.
Yeah, the arc, very important.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
start
think timing
staging was
is a
already
thing.
said. Yeah, timing is
think that's-
also.
Timing's one.
Yo, that was just a guess.
Line
It
of action.
is actually.
Arc.
Timing.
I
Oh,
think.
arc has been said.
Yeah.
How many?
Crying.
How many have we?
We've gotten 7. I'm counting on my hands.
Has anyone said overlapping action?
Overlapping and
some
follow
already
through
said
go
that.
together.
Oh, okay.
I remember S.
Appeal, Nikki, that's
Slow.
right.
Secondary action.
Slow.
Secondary
Is
action.
it slow? I remembered slow.
Slow in and slow out. So secondary action and then slow in and slow out.
out.
Okay, 2 more left, you guys. What is it?
Squash and stretch.
Ready, said.
Already
Wait,
said.
secondary action.
What was said already?
Oh, I guess it's only one more.
Imagination.
Oh, wait, no.
Imagination.
Imagine.
Magic. Okay, so there's
Sec-
one
what
more.
about
I'm just gonna
secondary
say
action?
it. Secondary action has been said. I'm pretty sure all. Okay, almost all except for one. So the next one is the last one that you guys forgot. Is also one of the important ones. Actually, all of this is important, but
Speedrun.
determination
solid
to
drawing.
finish the puzzle.
Solid.
So solid drawing. Those are all the 12 principles of
sketches?
animation.
Fine art.
Okay, so I'm gonna go into depth with each one of these because some of them are self-explanatory. Oh wait, we're missing one more. Sorry. Straight ahead action and pose to pose. So these are all very. Some of them are very self-explanatory, where others are a bit more harder to understand. So I'm just gonna go through each and every one of them for you guys to understand. Oh my God, Lance. Yes, Lance. Welcome to the party. Welcome to the class. Okay. So squash and stretch. Take a guess as to what that is, guys.
I
When you
think
squash and you stretch.
Yeah, exactly.
When moving like expressions or muscles or clothes, if it goes with the direction, it's squash. If it goes against, it's stretch.
Okay, I kind of. It's a bit. So squash and stretch is very self-explanatory. When let's say I am going to let's say I'm going to jump, right? When I'm going to jump, I'm squishing my body down, and then when I go back up, I'm stretching my body forward. So squash and stretch is a type of exaggeration from real world. So when we say exaggerate, so the 12 principles of animation, they're all kind of really tied together. So when I'm talking about squash and stretch, it's kind of like a subgenre of exaggeration. And exaggeration is just what its name is, exaggerating real life. So, for example, I'm going to punch somebody, right? When I go like this, you can tell that I'm going to punch somebody. However, wala siyang dating. When I exaggerate, I add more personality to it. Yeah, pow, like, yo, suntukan na tayo, like that. That we're exaggerating it. Yeah, so squash and stretch. If I were to find the squash and stretch in that action that I did, where I'm gonna punch, my squash would be going backwards, and then my stretch would be pushing forward. Yeah, Miss has a delay. I'm so sorry, guys. It's okay. Just deal with it, I suppose. You guys will be able to see naman yung recording, and you guys can go over it. Okay. So we've covered squash and stretch.
TOONBOOM looks confusing.
Slow in and slow out. Oh, sorry. Squash and stretch. Secondary action. Or sorry, not secondary action. Exaggerations. And then the next thing that we can do for this action would be anticipation. So anticipation is basically we are preparing the audience for the main action. So if I were to punch somebody, if I simply just like lifted my arm and went like that, obviously magugulat yung audience. They wouldn't know that you're going to punch somebody. You need to have a preparation for that action. That's what we have the anticipation for. We are anticipating the main action. Vibe check. Okay, so the anticipation, again, for this action would be me pulling backwards, and this would also be considered the squash of the action. And then the main action would be me punching. Are you guys following so far, or do you guys want me to go over something that is a bit, if it's a bit confusing? Just let me know, you guys. Vibe check. Okay. Next would be okay. So I think the next thing would be timing. So timing and slow in and slow out, they are very related. However, they're still very different. So slow in and slow out is kind of like a subgenre naman ng timing. So that just means like it is slow in and slow out is considered a timing. However, not all timings are slow in and slow out. Does that make sense, you guys? Do you understand what I just said?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So slow in and slow out is pertaining to how fast things come in, how you time your action. So for example, if I do this action again, yes, that is a timing chart, which I will be talking about later on today. Chill lang tayo. Yeah. That is a timing chart. So I'll be explaining it more later because your activity, I think next week, I'm pretty sure, will be that. Because again, chill lang tayo. This is the first week. We're just gonna ease ourselves into it. Okay. So slow in is pertaining to when a drawing is when there's more drawings coming in than there is in the middle of the action. So for example, again, I'm doing this punching action. I would put more drawings towards the main pose, which is this. So as I'm going back, I'm slow in. So slowing into this final pose. And then when I punch, super bilis niya. So there's going to be less drawings. And then when I'm punching, there's going to be more drawings here because we want the action to be slower. So again, slow in, slow out. Slow in, and then slow out. It would be easier if I showed you guys the time chart, but I'm going to show that a bit later. What principle we in right now? So we're doing slow in and slow out, and then also timing, because those are very, those are connected to each other. Yes. Timing. It's more like they're closely intertwined with each other because slow in and slow out is a type of timing. However, not all timings are slow in and slow out. So, slow in, when you want to convey a slower action, you add more drawings. And if you want a faster action, you use less drawings. So that is why if you see in types of timing charts, you will see more drawings towards the things that have slower movements and lesser drawings in the middle. Smear frames. Yeah, I'm not going to go into that yet. Smear frames are a bit more advanced. But smear frames are basically like if you don't have enough if you don't have enough time for a certain like action, that's when you would probably smear. Yeah. That's like a motion blur basically. Motion blur but the original motion blur. Okay. So the next thing we would talk about is staging. So staging, it's very self-explanatory. It's how you frame your scene. So for example, if I stood here, rule of thirds na yan. Madalas tong gamitin, yung rule of thirds. Because it's easier to look at. If I'm here, it looks like talagang I'm in a call with you guys, which is I am obviously, but so the rule of thirds is you're giving what's this called? There is a bit more space in between. Yeah, it's in the composition. Yes, it is a composition. So staging and composition are the same, kind of intertwined again with each other. So if you are staging something, that's just pertaining to how you set up your scene. So again, if I were to punch somebody, if I was in the middle of the screen, wala akong move, like I don't have enough space for that action. Like if you notice, my elbow is being cut off from the screen. However, yeah, I'm just doing the punching just because it's easier to show. Because if it was like a real class, I would do like jumping and stuff. Like it's easier to portray because I'm just sitting down. Anyway, if I were to make this action a bit more better compositioned, yeah, perfect. So that's using the rule of thirds. If you were to put a grid on that, she is standing on the grid. So if I were to be here, I have way more space to do that action. Boop, boop, boop. It's probably punched. Okay. Do you have any questions?
Excuse me lang. What if our class is trying to get in? You know, I don't think the link that whatever we're using is not working. So
Ayun. So they can't get in unless I set up their role, which was Addy 11. So I think that's the person that just joined in. Addy 11. Boop. I'm pretty sure that's them. Thank you for letting me know. So I could where were we? She do be on the grid. Yeah, see? So there is space for the action. That's why we usually use rule of thirds. It's not always, of course, it's not always the case. For example, like, ayun, you're gonna do somebody that's talking directly to the camera. That's when you would use like a centered one. So the next thing would be, so let's go to solid drawing and appeal. So what do you guys think the definition of solid drawing means? No gaps. Solid. Drawing solid. Very good. You guys know words. Sige nga. Seryoso. Solid drawing. What do you think that means? Okay. The thicker art line. Okay, so pepper steak. I'm unsure if this is your name. Please guys, by the way, change your name to your proper name just so that, or like at least your nickname, so I don't call you your your Discord name. Pepper steak. Okay. No. So, pepper steak is right. It is understanding or the form of drawing. However, it is also pertaining to let's say you have a drawing, like a drawing of a circle. In order for this to stay solid, you would have to maintain that volume of that circle all throughout. So even if we squash this, when I squash it, I would move the volume out towards the end of the sides. So that even if it's squashed, the volume of the circle would maintain the same. And then if I stretched it, it would be the same. It also pertains to silhouettes. So when you have a strong silhouette, that just means you have a strong drawing or solid drawing. You can notice this when you have those traditional animations, let's say Princess and the Frog, that has really good silhouettes. Spider-Verse, also really, really strong silhouettes. And that just makes it, because since it's so action packed, you need to make sure that the audience can understand it by just looking at it. Yeah, so if you haven't watched Spider-Verse, I really recommend it. Like, just go through it frame by frame to see all of those really, really strong poses, really, really solid drawings. Even if it's in 3D, it still has really, really solid solid drawings. Yeah. So, appeal, what do you think appeal means? So something ugly can still be appealing. So what does appealing mean? That is a part of the appeal. So that could be a type of appeal or a type of style that is appealing. Color is part of the appeal. However, it's not the appeal itself. Animation style is also part of the appeal. However, it's not appeal itself. So something ugly can be appealing. Something cute could be appealing. So, anybody don't want to guess anymore? Something like charisma. Close. This game show too. Okay, sabi na, hirit na ba kayo? Hirit na ba kayo?
Yes.
Okay, so appealing just means that it's interesting to look at. So you can make something really, really disturbing, but it still has appeal because you are catching the audience. You're catching the audience's eyes. So it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be pretty, it has to be cute, it has to be interesting to look at, it has to catch the audience's eyes. Because as a consumer, you have to remember that when it's boring or when it's just like simple, oh, it looks like it's real life, how are you going to catch an audience if it's not interesting to look at? So some things can look like, yeah, pretty rough. Yeah, Discord light mode. Leave my Discord light mode alone. So, yeah. So it caught your eye though. So it is appealing, just not to you. Yeah, light mode gang. Me and Vincent, light mode gang. So appeal is just being able to retain the audience's attention. So Spider-Verse again is really good. A really good. What's a example of that? They have really good, really strong character designs. Sa character designs pa lang, super ano na siya, eye-catching na siya. Okay, so there's few more that we haven't gone over. So I'm going to talk about next would be straight ahead. Wait, sorry. I'm just like flashing through my stuff. I'm just making sure that the OBS is still recording, because sometimes if I'm not looking at it, it stops recording for some reason. So I just have it open. Yeah, I don't know. It's happened to me before and I had to re-record one of my sessions. Okay. Anyway. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is straight ahead action and pose to pose. So what do you think this is pertaining to, guys? This is more of animation stuff na. Or do you guys have no idea? Just take a guess. Take a guess what this means. Straight ahead action and pose to pose.
I think it's how we draw it, how we animate.
When you plan everything from the beginning to the end.
Yes.
It has
That's
cadence.
exactly it. So straight ahead, good job, good job. You know what it means. So straight ahead is when you start animating from the first frame all the way to the last, na sunod-sunod. Pose to pose is when you plan it first, where you have, let's say, if I were to punch again, my first frame would be this, and then my last frame would be this, and then I would do all the in-betweens. Like an animatic, yes. So an animatic is basically you're planning out the actions, kind of like that. So pose to pose is usually done with character animations, etc., etc. It is rarely done. So, character animations are rarely done straight ahead, just because the tendency is you lose your volume of your character. So what happens is your character becomes too big or too small by the end of it, because you're not able to keep track of their size when you're starting to do the straight ahead. So usually we use talagang pose to pose. Straight ahead animations are used mostly for effects. So when I'm drawing water or flyer, usually that is straight ahead. Yeah, so the tendency is, and I'll show it a bit later, the tendency is things get too big, things get too small, because you're not able to keep track. I think I've only seen a few like really good, but they're like veterans. They can keep the volume like consistent. Like Aaron Blaze, I think, is a really good example. James Baxter as well. So if you haven't heard of them, please look them up. Watch their stuff. Aaron Blaze has a lot of YouTube videos. Yes, you can watch him. The animator. Yes. He's real. Yes, he is very real. Okay. Okay, so moving on. So, arcs. Arcs are very self-explanatory. Whenever we move in nature, we always have a tendency to move at arcs. So even if it's very subtle, for example, if I tilt my head, I'm moving my head in an arc. If I move my arms, I'm moving in arcs. So even if you don't notice it, you're subconsciously you're moving in arcs. There's very little, I don't even think, the only time you wouldn't be moving in an arc is if you're a robot and you're programmed to do that. Like, or a car where the car is moving straight in a line. However, even then there's an arc, because when a car stops, they go down and then go back up. That's an arc. So in everything we do, Miss Weena in the Discord. Is she in the Discord right now?
Yes.
Really? Hi, Miss Weena. Yo, you guys are scaring me. Is she really here?
I mean, she just joined the Discord.
Oh, really?
She's
Where?
not in the call. It says in the... Wait, where is it?
Well, I'll give her, I am legally your mother. No, I'm not gonna give her anything. That's okay. No, I'll give her, access to the chats. Okay, y'all behave, okay? Be good students. Miss Weena's here.
Quick, everyone starts screaming their heads off. I'm kidding, no.
Psych! Psych! Okay. So, back to our class. Don't mind Miss Weena. I just gave her access to the channels so she can see my classes. Okay, so the next thing is, so actually arcs are very easy, very simple to understand. The next thing would be follow through and overlapping action. So what are those? So that's, hinuli ko talaga siya because it's kind of complicated to explain. It's okay. It's okay. So everybody, hello? Are you guys still... Miss Weena's ruined everything for us. Everybody's not talking now. Okay, good.
Wait, is she in the call?
She's not in the call right now. Don't worry. I'm pretty sure she's not in the call. She just joined the server. So, follow through and overlapping action, guys. What is it? What do you think this is?
Is it like a frame where two actions are supposed to happen, so you just draw the same two actions in one frame?
No, not really. How do
Is
I
it when two frames overlap each other, therefore you need to create like a merge between those two?
No.
I think more
Guess
of like a spring. Like a door stopper type of thing.
I don't think. Anybody else? Anybody else? We are on the last two. So straight ahead. Oh, sorry, not straight ahead. Follow through and overlapping action, and then we have secondary action to talk about, which is honestly, I think, the hardest to kind of explain. Because it's very easy to switch the two. Follow through and overlapping action with secondary action. So first, we're just going to talk about follow through and overlapping. So those are smear frames. Those are not what you call follow through and overlapping. This is a smear frame. Cursed.
I see.
Yeah. So follow through and overlapping. If nobody wants to take any more guesses, are you guys okay? Hirit na kayo? Okay. That's a type of follow through. Okay, so follow through and so let's start with follow through. Follow through is just what its name is. It is the action that is following the main action. So for example, I move my head, my hair moves with. It is following the action of my head. So it follows after. The punch, you want me to do the punch? I'll use that later. And then
The arm follows the fist.
So the overlapping action, however, is when, let's say I move my head and I add another action to it. So for example, I move my head, my hair is moving, and then with my hair, let's say I added like a ball here or something, and it's like has time on it or something like that. Overlapping is basically, let's say I move my arms as well. I move my arms. They're not necessarily moving at the same time. One would be moving faster than the other. So para siyang naglalag. Even though, let's say I move them together like this, it would kind of look like that. More like. If I jump, see, I can't jump, obviously, right now, but like if I jumped, my arms would be not moving at the same time. And overlapping action is basically offsetting the animation, so that not everything is moving at the same time. So if I move my head, let's say I move my body or move my head, my arm kind of like drags afterwards, etc. So earlier someone mentioned the drag action. So that's part of follow through and overlapping actions. Okay. Do you guys follow so far? Or do you guys want me to explain further? That one's a bit more complicated kasi. Are you guys okay? Okay. We follow through. Ha ha. Okay. What's overlapping again? Okay, overlapping is basically if I were to move my body, let's say I move my body from over here to over there. The overlapping action would be me and my arm would be kind of dragging behind. So overlapping and the follow through, the reason why they are grouped into one principle is because they're so tied together. Usually when you have a follow through, that is also considered an overlapping action. So if I, for example, my hair, technically that's overlapping because even if I stop, it is still following, it is still moving. Something like that. Boop, boop. So if I stop, ayun, gumagalaw pa din yung hair ko even after I stop, or my earrings as well. Like if I move my head, they're still moving. Yeah. Okay. So I just have to make sure that that is clear because we're going to move on to secondary action. So what do you think secondary action is? Yes, that's exactly right. So secondary action is basically, it doesn't necessarily need to follow up. It can actually be it can actually become before the action too. So it is basically, secondary action is basically supporting the main action. So anticipation can be considered a secondary action. So for example, I am going to eat a burger. If I just take a bite of a burger, or I need a prop.
Alex, excuse me.
Ah,
Alex.
hello. Yes, Miss Mina.
Yes. Oh, are you recording?
Yes po. I am.
Yes, okay. This is okay. Sige, sige. Give me the recording or just the link
Okay
so
po.
that I can put in here. Okay.
Hi, Miss Mina. I didn't know she was here. Yes.
Yeah, okay, good.
Thank you, Miss Wina, for popping in. Okay. So, an exaggerated, sorry, where was I? Secondary action. So if I were to take a bite of the burger, I'm trying to find like a prop that I can use. Yeah. Sure. Okay. So if I'm gonna eat this burger, pretend this is a burger. If I were gonna eat this burger and I just, that's the main action, I could just do that, right? Cardboard, yes, yummy. Okay, so I could just do this. Oh, right? That is me eating the burger. That's the main action. However, I want to convey to the audience how good this is, how yummy this is. So I'm gonna sniff it first, and then I take a bite. So the sniffing is considered the secondary action. That is also could be considered the anticipation to the main action. So I sniff, and then I bite. So it is what is this called? It is supporting the main action. So you guys have any questions about secondary action and the difference between follow through and overlapping? None? Yeah, exactly. That burger bite. Yum, yum. Yeah, so if you notice the GIF that was sent earlier by Lance, when he rolls his eyes back, that is considered a secondary action. Because we wouldn't really necessarily have to have that in the yeah, there's a GIF right here. Okay. So that is all for all the 12 principles of animations. If you have no questions about any of them, we can move on to TOONBOOM Harmony, how to use it, and the interface of it. Are you guys ready?
I have yet to download.
Yeah, it's okay. You guys can download it today and then just go back onto the footage because I am recording this. So wait. Okay. So yeah, so for the people that don't have TOONBOOM today, okay lang, you guys can always go back onto the recording that I have. Okay. So, I'm just going to open up TOONBOOM. Boop, boop. Okay, so you guys are gonna see me looking over here because this is my second screen. I have a tablet thing. Okay. Can we wait like 5 minutes? Okay. How? Wait.
Okay, Alex.
Yes,
Alex,
miss?
excuse. For those who don't have TOONBOOM yet, they have to email IT. So infotech at iacademy.edu.ph, and then IT will direct them as to how they can download TOONBOOM. So I'm navigating here because this is new to me. It says here in the video chat isn't available for more than 25 users.
Mm-hmm.
So that's okay, right? As long
Yes,
as they
ma'am.
can see you.
Yes, they can see
That's
me.
okay. Okay.
If you join the
They
stream
can see
po.
you and they can see.
Yes.
So no problem. Okay, so you tell me also if they are encountering problems with Discord.
Yes po. I think so far
okay,
naman po, wala naman silang problems. It was just earlier,
No problem.
I didn't have everybody in the call. I think someone else is. Hold on. I might have to add somebody
Okay.
here.
Yes. Okay, so every meeting start first with a Google Meet just to make sure everybody knows the Discord link.
Okay po.
Okay? Okay, sige. Okay, thank you.
There you go. Thank you, miss. I think, what's the email? Clarence just sent it. Yep. There you go. Sweet. There you go. Ayun. I think there's somebody else waiting. I'm not sure if everybody else is here. Come into hoop. Okay. There you go. Sorry, there's somebody else waiting for this. Okay. I'm just gonna drag them in. Force them inside. Hello.
Ew.
No, the person. There was a person at sa Tambay. The Tambay voice channel. And I made sure that they were... Because I think that they are Annie 11. There you go. Oh, did you not eat? Okay.
I'm eating right now.
Okay. Well. There you go. Okay. So I added that person, and I think they're inside the ano na. The call na. So hopefully everybody is in. And again, if they did miss anything, I could just give them the recording. Because I'm going to be sending it to you guys naman. Okay. So when you open up, are you guys, is everybody listening now? Are you guys okay?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Okay. So when you first open up Harmony, you just press the icon. This is what you're gonna see. You're just going to see a little square. And then you're going to see create a new scene. For you guys, it's not gonna have any of these. Open a new scene. Obviously, for me, I do have some stuff there. So for my name, you could just, this is the name for the scene. So right now I'm just gonna leave it as is. And I'm gonna change the location for now to just my desktop. So that just means where I'm gonna save it. Okay. And then if you notice here, the camera size, the default is 1920 by 1080. And then the frame rate is 24. So you don't want to move this. keep it as is, because that's usually that is the animation standard. So 1920 by 1080, very rarely does it change, or does the client specifically ask for something else. It's usually 1920 by 1080. Okay, so I'm just gonna create scene. Click on that. Boop, boop, boop. And then automatically you see on my desktop, it's made a folder. So, wow, namute. Okay. Yes. Okay. Hold on one moment. I'll just fix this real quick.
Alex?
Yes, Pop.
Alex, there are some students messaging in the Google Meet. They can't see you. All they hear is like static or something like that. I think they need to press something. Like right now, I can see you. All they can see is just chat, and then
They can't.
see you. Oo.
Huh?
for
Wait,
those,
what?
okay, what is that?
They should be joining the live.
Mhm.
So at Annie, I'm just gonna ping everybody.
Okay. So, okay. Gabriel Alfonso Gonzalez.
The
If
live.
it is still a
Let's see.
problem.
Hello, I'm pretty sure.
Gabriel Alfonso Gonzalez, he was the one who said he can't see you.
Okay.
Or can you see? Is Gabriel here? They're all like different names.
Yes, Gab is here. Kaka-join lang po niya, I think, kanina.
Okay. Can already see you. Any problem, Gabriel? Wala na?
Yeah. Yeah, you guys, every year the license is renewed, so don't worry about the expiration date. As long as you guys are studying in iAcademy, you guys will have the license. Time to study forever. Okay, well, Gab, can you hear me now, or are you still having issues? Is anybody else having issues with the audio? Okay, so I don't think anybody else is having issues with the audio. Just a reminder, though, to change your name to either your name or your nickname, para lang alam ko yung name mo from just the Discord, your Discord name. Yeah, so you really need for the subject to have a tablet. It doesn't have to necessarily be a one with a screen or something like that. It can be like yung Intuos lang, or Huyon, the one that has no screen. I think that's like 1,000 ata yung pinakamura nila, or 2,000 ata. Yeah. So you don't have to get something too grandiose. Just anything that you can draw with, really, because if you try to use with the mouse, you are going to get carpal tunnel. Is that like a requirement? Is it okay to use with anything? Okay. Is it? Pat, what are you asking for the like requirement? If you don't have a computer that you can animate on, or you can't use like let's say you don't have a tablet and you really like you have an iPad or something like that. As long as you're able to animate, tatanggapin ko siya. But of course, you wouldn't be able to use TOONBOOM. Let's say you have an iPad. You wouldn't be able to use TOONBOOM because it's not compatible on that OS. Ang alam ko.
So we don't really have to use the TOONBOOM in order to pass the subject, or
It's
is it
preferable.
like
It's preferable naman to use TOONBOOM because that's what I will be teaching on. However, if you don't have access to it, for example, you're using yun nga, a tablet, like a Android tablet, as long as you're able to animate, okay lang sa akin. Tatanggapin ko siya.
okay? Thank you.
Yes. So, ayan. So, okay na kayo? Are you guys ready?
I Captain.
Ay.
So bars. Hold up. Okay, restore default space. Okay, oops, sorry, Mike. There it is. Okay, so you won't be able to see my face right then, so I'm just gonna make it super small to the side, as small as I can get it. Or wait, maybe. Yeah, okay, sige, ganyan na lang. Okay. So when you first open TOONBOOM up, it's gonna look like this. Okay, so it's going to look like this. So don't be overwhelmed. We're not going to be using every single thing that you see on this screen right now. We're just going to be using, so we're going to be using these tools for now, and then of course the timeline. And as well as the X sheet. So I'll show you guys that in a bit. So let's just start with what we have right now. So as you can see, we have a camera tab. So that just means this is what, when we render, this is what the audience, or this is what we will be exporting. So if I use, let's say I use the brush tool and I start drawing, this is what you will see. So if I rendered this, this is what it's going to be seen as. And you'll see that there's a box around this area. So if I zoom out, so to zoom, you just use 1 and 2. So 1 to zoom out, 2 to zoom in. You'll see a box, a square here. So that just means kung ano yung laman ng square, that's what's going to be seen. So if I draw outside of this circle, or of this square, it won't be seen. So if I draw something like, let's say, I draw something here. I know how to draw hands. There you go. So if I were to export this, this is what it would look like. So you'll see that the box, it's only showing what is inside of the box. So parang walang laman dito. So if you have something to hide on the side, you can do that. So this is TOONBOOM 20. You probably saw like TOONBOOM 14 maybe? Or wait, 10. 10 looks different. Very, very different. It's like light and stuff. I think TOONBOOM 12 was when they changed the way it looks like itself. Okay, so I'm gonna go through each tool. Don't want to save my work. No. So I'm gonna go through each tool that you see me flipping through. So this one, the black cursor that you see here, this is just to select drawings. So you may notice earlier, if I draw with the brush, I select it with this tool. So I can move this around, 1 and 2, etc., etc. Delete. So the contour editor, or the white cursor, is a bit different. So yes, it is a bit different from Flash. There are similarities though. So I think I will go over what's similar in Flash. If you are more versed in Flash, you might have a harder time. So for example, you may see me, let's say the brush, I want it to be thicker. I can simply hold O and then drag. So you'll see a circle here that's dragging bigger and smaller. So that's just resizing it for me. So I can make it pretty small if I wanted to, or pretty big. Maybe a bit more bigger. I could do that.
Wait, what are you doing?
So I'm just resizing my brush by using O. So I hold O, and then I press down my pen, and then drag. So you can see it. You can see the circle, and it's making it bigger and smaller, depending where I drag. Boop. There you go. And again, I can just delete everything. Boop. So I'm just going to show you what the difference between the brush and the pencil tool is. So at first glance, it may look the same. You can see it kind of looks the same. It's just a line. However, if I try to use this contour editor, so the white mouse, if I click the brush one, you can see that there's a whole bunch of dots on the side. And if I move this around, I can change the shape of it itself. So I can make it thicker. I can delete points by selecting and then pressing delete. However, if I try to do this with the pencil, the pencil, iba yung nangyayari. So this will let's say you want to make it a circle. I can simply manipulate the points that I have into making it a circle. Okay, bam, bam, bam. So let's say, for example, here, I want to make this, instead of angular, I want to make it be able to snap like this. So I'm just going to hold Alt and then drag. Nagkaroon na siya ng ano. Are you guys following so far? So I can change this into any shape that I want. And as you can see, right now, everything is snapping. You'll see that there's a small circle whenever I select things. There's like a little blue circle around my mouse. And when I select it here, or when I get close to a point, it snaps it closed. Boop. So now, this is all connected. If you don't want that to happen, you can simply, in the tool properties that you see here, this little tab, you can just press this. Press that little magnet. And it will stop. So no more snapping. See, if I do this now, it will no longer snap. And I'd have to... And so even if I get them really close to each other, it will not snap. They really don't want to snap. Yeah. Bam. So again, if you want it to snap, just make sure that you select the magnet. You just click it, and then it will work. And if you want this to be a rounded edge, just hold Alt and then drag out. You will get these little handles. And there you go, I made a circle. So that, of course, if I wanted to do this with the brush, I would not be able to using the contour editor. If I wanted, let's say I have this and I really want it to be a brush, and I want it to be kind of like a different shape, kind of like this, I can actually do that by, if I hold this, if I hold the white mouse here at the contour editor, you can see that there's a drop down menu. So there's a lot of different tools, but I'm going to choose Center Line Editor. So what that does is it lets the brush behave as if it is a pencil stroke. So if, let's say, I wanted to add points, I could simply hold Control, and you'll see a little small plus box underneath my arrow, and I can add to my liking. I can also delete by just selecting and then pressing delete. If there's too many for me, I could do that as well. Okay. Do you guys have any questions so far? It is in the tool properties. So if you notice right now, nawala siya for me. It will come out on certain tools. So for the contour editor, if I select that, it will come out then. So it will also, it's also there for select tool as well. There you go. Yes, we will be using TOONBOOM all throughout. However, again, I mentioned before, if you don't have the TOONBOOM, or if you don't have the ability to work on a computer, etc., you guys can use another type of animation software. Ayun nga lang, I will be teaching all of the tips and tricks in TOONBOOM specifically. So some animation stuff, or some techniques would not be available for you guys to use on another program. But yeah, if you guys are able to download TOONBOOM, I really recommend it, because you guys do have it for free for as long as you guys are studying in iAcademy. Okay. Bam, bam, bam. Okay. So usually I use the brush tool for roughs and things like that. However, if you're using this for roughs, each stroke is considered one drawing. So if I keep on stroking or keep on adding drawings, and then use the select tool, I can move each one individually. And that's good. However, it's if you have a lot of roughs, it's going to get very heavy for your program. So the next thing I would do for the brush, just so that it's not too heavy for my program, is in the tool properties. And again, if you don't see the tool properties, you can simply, you see this little plus button right here? You click that and you look for tool properties. Bam. But since I already have it open, it's not going to come out. Okay. So the brush, bam. I am going to select this tool here. So you see this little button that has the A and then the downward arrow. So the A and then the downward arrow. So that just means that it's auto flattening. Yes, I want to save it work. By auto flattening, it means whatever intersects with it, it will flatten into one. So you would not be able to select one without the other. So that's just to avoid making it too heavy. Because again, you don't want especially if you have a computer that doesn't handle a lot of heavy stuff, you might have a harder time. So these are just tips to make your life a bit easier, and so that things don't lag too much if it is lagging for you. Although I hope it's not. You simply press this and it should work. So now it is one object, even though I did multiple strokes like so. So again, they need to be intersecting first before they merge together. As you noticed here, they didn't become one with this one because it wasn't merged together, or I didn't make a stroke over it. Yeah, so this is just a tip. And if you don't want it to be that way, you don't have to. This is just my preference. I like having it on so that if I need to delete something, I can just use the eraser instead, because it's just a rough naman. It doesn't have to be super clean. Okay. So we're just on the two main tools that we're going to use most of this term. These are going to be your bestest friends. A lot. Along with the others. We are going to be using a lot more of these as well. So, eraser tool, it's self-explanatory. It just erases everything that you want to be erased. Yes, so for example, I want to erase this. Oops, I want to erase this. I can. It also works on the pencil. So for example, I have the pencil. I can do the same for the pencil. Okay, what is the shortcut for pencil? Good question. So the shortcut for pencil is a bit complicated. Wait, no, it's not. Control backslash, or let me check. Was it? Or Alt Control backslash. Okay, sorry, it's Alt question mark, or the backslash thing here. Hold on. Alt plus question mark. There, that one. The one with the question mark. Okay. There you go. That is for the pencil. For the brush, you can change the shortcut keys. Okay. The eraser is Alt-E. Alt plus E. Brush is Alt plus B. Okay, so if you are used to using Flash, I will go over the shortcut keys or the preferences in a bit. So there's a reason why I haven't been using the preference or the shortcuts, because I will be discussing how to change them, etc., after I go through all of the tools. Okay? You guys? Okay with that? There is a reason why as well they don't you don't use Alt B, etc. I'll explain it in a bit after I do all of the tools, just so that you guys have a feel for each one, and then I can go into how to use the shortcut keys for each one of them. Okay. So the text tool, also very self-explanatory. Here you go. I'm trying to keep this on top, but I do not know how I can do that. Without, because I could do that before with the Discord, but since, again, there's so many of us, I don't know how to do that. Okay, you know what? We'll just deal like this. Oops. Oh. Sorry, I just want to be able for you guys to see me properly so I can talk when I'm talking. You can see me. Okay. So for text, it's very self-explanatory. Blah, 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 blah. You could also move it as if it was a drawing. Reshape it and everything like that. And it chooses whatever color you have selected for your brush. You can also, of course, change your fonts, etc. Okay. So, for the shape tools, it will use the pencil. So whatever you had set for the pencil, it will use that. Oopsies, I have this on. And earlier you saw it autofill. So I just had that as a default. If you don't want that to happen, you can just press this little button with the red inside of it. Again, so this will autofill, but I could just turn that off. If I want a perfect square, I can just simply hold Shift and it will make that for me. So the ellipse tool, it's the same. It just makes this circle. And if I wanted a perfect 360 circle, I can just hold Shift and it will make that for me. So for the line, same. If I hold Shift naman for this, it just snaps to make a perfect line. If I wanted to make a curved line, let's say I wanted to make a smiley face with this line, instead of holding Shift, I will hold Alt, and I can make a smile, little smiley face. He has a nose. Are you guys following so far? Okay. For the polyline, it's kind of like using Photoshop. You would have to plot the line down first. Close it like so. There you go. And again, they're using the default for whatever you have set for your pencil. And going back to the pencil settings as well. So there's a bit more options that you can do. So for example, you like having a textured pencil or a textured look. I could actually add that for my pencil. So for example, I can use, if you notice here, there are different types of presets that you can use. Charcoal has a textured line. And you can also do that for your brush as well. So for example, you like your roughs to be a bit more soft looking. In the tool properties, you can simply scroll down and choose a look that you want. So if you notice as well, there's a little hand that comes out when I want to move away. So I'm just holding shift so I can move the navigator around, or I can navigate around. Yes. So, yes, I should say my work. You can also make your own brush or customize your own brush. So, yeah, the default button is space for moving. Yes, correct. So, when I'm using this, let's say I like this water pastel brush. However, I would want to change it a bit more or customize it to be a bit more to my liking. You can simply press this little arrow here, boop, and then this little thing will pop out. So it looks kind of similar to I think it's kind of similar to Photoshop, if I remember correctly. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong though.
Excuse me, Alex.
Yes, but
Alex?
miss?
Oo. Sino ba to? There is someone here who cannot view the assessment. The lesson.
Yes.
Isabella Martinez. Therese Martinez. Tapos na ba to? Because this was an hour ago. I just checked my email. Can you already view Isabella Martinez?
I hope so. I think they're here na.
Oo. I'm just checking my email and that was an hour ago.
Okay.
So I just want to be sure if she can already see the lesson. Isabella Martinez, but I don't know your nickname. So where are you?
Yeah. Can somebody please ping them if they are here?
I don't see a
Isabella?
lesson also. In my Neo, there's a 0 lessons.
Oh, I don't have any lessons out yet
okay.
sa Neo po. Because I know how to put them on yet.
I will be
Yes.
I will be putting up the lessons in Neo. So just give it to me, then I will put it there.
Yes,
and
pa.
the recording.
Okay,
So
pa.
Martinez is okay? Okay na kaya siya? I'm not sure Who is
Yes,
Isabella
Bella is here.
Martinez?
Bella is here.
Bella.
Hello, Bella.
Okay, Bella, can you already view the lesson?
Yes, I think she's been here for a while na ata.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. There's no in the Neo, there's no lessons yet there.
Okay.
Kasi
so it's just here. Okay.
Miss Wina will help me out with that. Just because
Okay.
I mentioned earlier is I haven't used Neo yet. So I don't know how to set that up properly.
Okay,
Ayan.
we will put it there. So don't
Yes.
worry. Okay. All right.
Thank you, Miss Wina. Oh, no, it's okay. It's okay, Bella. Don't worry. Okay, so back to my lesson. Let's say I want it to be squared. I can do that. So now my brush will be a square. Or let's say I wanted it to be let's say, if you see this, the paper texture is chosen. Let's say I wanted it to be a different texture. I can choose that as well. So I can choose something like this, or something more so. And let's say, okay, so let's say I wanted it to be, yeah, okay, sige, ayan, ganyan. And then I want my, I want to add a dual tip, so I can add that as well. So kind of like Photoshop, where you can add different kinds of tips. Okay, for example, I am, okay, okay, so let's say I'm happy with this and I want to save it. I can simply press this little pencil button with a plus sign on the side. Bam. And then I can rename this to custom brush or whatever I want. So custom, I'll just name it custom brush for now. So now you'll see it adds itself to the bottom, and I can automatically go back to it now. So this helps if you have like a specific type of feel that you want for your brush or your roughs, that's okay. However, if you do use texture brushes, they do get very heavy. So if you are going to use that, I would recommend you turning on the flatten tool, just so that things don't get too heavy for you. And you can do the same thing for your pencil. Yes, he is a little bunny. So you can do the same thing for your pencil. Let's say you have a texture that you want to do. This one is a bit more limited. It doesn't have as many options as you do for the brush. As you can see, there's only so many you can choose from. However, if you do have one that you, that you want, or you have your own texture, you can actually add or import it into your file. So you can just simply press this little plus button and then look for the texture that you want. So anyone will do, as you can see, any image will do. Are you okay?
No. Yeah, my mic's on. I'm dying.
Boy, what the hell are you doing?
Okay. So, of course, ayan. So, oh, that is very trippy. I did not like that.
That sounded like a flash before your eyes. What the heck happened?
Okay.
I'm done with my cold.
So, this is just if you have, if you like textured stuff. This is just that it's just so that you have the option to use it. But usually naman, I just use the normal stuff. Yeah, another crudely drawn bunny. There you go. Okay. Okay, so fill tool. Also very pivotal that we use this. It just like what it says, it paints everything that is closed. So obviously it won't paint anything that is not closed. If I had like an open line, boop, boop, boop. Let's say for here, I have an open line, or this is not closed. When I try to paint this, it can paint. However, if the gap is too big, let's say for example, let's make it like this big, it will no longer be able to, oops, to fill it in. So you can either go over it like this, and I'll go into a bit more depth when we're doing like cleanup stuff. But doing something like this, you can do it. However, it's gonna get pretty messy real quick. This looks clean, however, it's not. It's dirty. If I press K, this is what we're calling invisible lines or invisible strokes. So you'll see all of these lines, this blue line here. And it's not clean. By that I mean it's not all one line like this. And you would have to fix it manually, but I digress. That is a bit more advanced, and we're just doing the overview. Okay. So so those are the basics that we're going to use. Now let's move on to the shortcut keys that you guys were asking. So if you go to Edit, Preferences, this is what we have so far. For you guys, the levels of undo would be 50. So I always recommend when you first start out, to always change your levels of undo. Yeah, always change your levels of undo to a really big number. So for me, I changed it to a big one. Yeah. I changed it to a big one because obviously I'm not going to get it to be that far away, those many undos. But it's always good to be. I mean, I think there is a limit. If I try to add more zeros to this, yeah, there's no more. There's no more. Okay. Okay. So the next thing that I like to do for my preferences is focus on mouse enter. So if I don't have it checked right now, you'll notice I have to click first before it selects the window. So you'll see a red line. If I go into my timeline, I will have to click here first in order for my my computer to focus on it. So right now it's only focused on the timeline, and if I want to go to the camera, I would have to click here first before having to do so. Okay. So for my preferences, I will just make sure that this is checked and press OK. So now when I move my mouse around, sumasama yung focus, or the little red window that you see here. Boop, 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 boop. You guys following so far?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, so this does help a lot. I don't particularly like having to click every single time when I go into Windows. So this helps a lot for me anyway. And again, if you guys don't like it, or if you prefer it to be you like pressing it first, that is up to you. That is your preference, and you can change it back however you want. So on to the shortcut keys. So for people that prefer using Flash, you can actually choose for your keyboard shortcuts to change it to Adobe Flash shortcuts. But however, since I am a mainly TOONBOOM Harmony user, I will use those shortcut keys. So, for particular, if you want to change a certain key, let's say you want to change the pencil, you can simply look up the name, pencil. So this is not it. That is not it either. Yeah, so the pencil tool, the default is Alt the backslash or forward slash. Yes. There you go. And if you want to change it, you can by simply clearing this and then putting in the desired shortcut key. However, I don't really change this. Again, I usually use with the defaults. The reason that being is because particularly for the brush, the reason why it's Alt B and not Control B is because later on in, let's say, cutout animation, you use Control B to go up higher keys, etc., etc. So I don't really change those things. So the risk of changing your shortcut keys is that sometimes you might override something else. So it's better to learn the shortcut keys in the program. So for example, Alt B is for the brush. Sorry, Alt B. Hello. Ay, wow. Wala nangyari. Hey, why don't you want to work? Wow, wala nangyari. Let's see what's up. So I might be wrong. Alt B might not be the shortcut key for that. So let's look up brush. Brush tool. Yeah, Alt B. Default. Should be Alt B. So I don't know why it wasn't working. Alt B. Hello. I guess it doesn't want to work for me right now. But Alt B is the shortcut key. You saw it earlier. I even looked it up. Alt B, and then Alt backslash is the pencil. Alt E is for the eraser. However, let's say I'm using the brush tool constantly. Instead of pressing Alt B or Alt E to having to change from the eraser and then Alt B going back to the brush, I can simply hold E, and that will temporarily let me use the eraser without having to change what I have selected as my default. So for example, again, I'm drawing this little buddy and I want to clean up the lines. I can simply hold E. Again, holding E. I don't have to switch back and forth between the brush and the eraser. I'm simply still on the brush. However, I'm holding E. Yeah. Holding E to keep or to use the eraser tool. Following so far, guys? And the same thing goes for, let's say I'm using the pencil and then I want to use the brush. So let's say I'm using the pencil again and I want to use the brush for the eyes. Let's say I want to use the brush for the eyes. So first, hold on, I want to clean this up. Again, holding E, I can do so. Boop, boop, boop. And then, let's say for the eyes, I want to use the brush. Instead of holding E, I can simply hold B. So that will be using the brush tool instead of my little pencil tool. And I didn't have to switch back and forth. Guys following so far? Or do you have any questions? Okay. So the shortcut key for paint is Alt-I. The paint tool, I'm pretty sure. Alt-I. What? Why is it not working? Okay, again, if I'm wrong, you can always look up the shortcut key or the keyboard shortcuts. Bucket. Sorry, cancel. Paint. Oops. Edit. Sure. Paint. Yeah, Alt-I. I don't know why. Shortcut tool for, okay, shortcut for lasso tool. That is, lasso tool, do you mean the selector? Alt-S is the shortcut key for that. Alt-Q is for the contour editor. Yes. Chunky. Okay. And let's say, oops, hey, go back. You can't see me. Let's say I have a drawing. Okay. Let's say I have a drawing of a face. Actually, I'm going to change the color, so I'm going to use black. And of course, you can add colors that you want, but this is just the default that they give. You can just press this little plus button, and then you can add any color you want. Boop, 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 boop. So pink, if you want, sure. Let's make it pink. Of course, you can also rename them, but you don't really have to for this particular class. So yeah, let's draw Kirby. Very simple, easy to draw. I won't use a textured pencil just because I don't want to use that. So I can also adjust the size on the tool properties. I usually use just the holding O technique, just so that I don't have to keep on flipping back and forth. Okay, let's say I have a circle like so. Or, okay, yeah. And then I have like a little part or a little arm that's sticking out. So let's say I have those little parts sticking out, right? It's like a middle. There you go. Knock off Kirby. Yeah, Kerbo. You see this line here? I don't want it to be there. So what I can do, instead of erasing it, instead of holding E as such, I can simply hold T and drag over that line. So again, for example, this one, let's say for this part, I don't want this part here on the feet. I can simply hold T and then drag. So this only works if there is intersection between lines. For example, here, if I wanted it to cut, syempre, it's not going to work because it's not connected to that line. So I would have to connect this first and then cut like so. And again, boop, and then cut like so. Are you guys following so far? Yes, okay. So we are done with the tools, or the main tools that we're going to be using. Let's move on to the timeline. So tools pa lang yun, guys. So the timeline, I'm pretty sure, have you guys used the timeline before or talagang wala? Nothing yet. Okay. Okay. So a timeline is basically what you have, how many frames you have in your animation. So right now the default is always 60. And if you notice, when I scrub through my timeline, nawawala yung drawing ko. That's because it's not exposed all the way through. Like such. So, let's say I want my Kirby. Let's say I want my Kirby to be 60 frames, all these 60 frames. I can simply go to the end of my timeline, or to this frame that I want. Frame Pollo. Frame 60. And then I can simply press F5. Oops. I can simply press F5. So that will extend my exposure for my drawing all the way through. And if you notice in my timeline, there is a little gray bar. So that just represents my drawing. When let's say I add a new drawing. Let's say on frame 11, I add a new... Let's say for the frame 11, I add a new drawing. Let's say my little Kirby. I'm not sure where he is right now. He's sad. Wait, he has a really small face. There you go. How could you do this to him? My Kerbo. He trusted you. Yeah, and again, if I wanted to cut this out, simply hold T and drag. No longer. It is gone. So now if I play this, if I play it, it will look like this. Boop. Because I have not extended this exposure, I can simply press F5 here, and it will extend. So now I have two drawings. Are you guys following so far? Okay. That's good.
What's the play button?
So the play button is just here. It just plays. So if you had an animation, it would start playing that animation that you have going. So here is the play button. I think the shortcut for this is Shift Enter, if I remember correctly. Shift Enter? What? Okay, it's not Shift Enter. I don't know what it is. Control Enter? Yeah, I don't use the shortcut key for that. Again, you can change it to enter. It's like just to enter, because I know for Flash it's enter. Yes, poor little Kerbo. Okay.
Pain Pollo.
Yeah, Pain Pollo. So let's say let's say I want to have a drawing between this one and this one. Oh, wait, Discord. I can simply delete this by pressing the delete button. Oop. And then draw me so this is just, obviously this is very crude drawing. Emote. Yeah, you guys can make it into emote. You guys can make it. You guys have the authority to make it into emotes. So go wild. Okay. So I'm not going to go into detail how to do the timing just yet, because I'm just going over the interface today, this week, and I'll be giving you guys a kind of like a assignment-ish. Yes, it's just to go over, again, it's just to go over every single tool. I'll be sending it over to you guys in a bit. Boop. Para kumbaga a recap of what you guys learned. So let's say I wanted to add another drawing. Let's say I wanted to add a little cap on top of my little Kerbo. Okay? Let's say I want to have a little cap on him. It's going to be great. So instead of drawing it over my little drawing here, what we're going to do is we're going to add another drawing. So if you notice here, I'm going to name this boy Kerbo. And then I'm going to add another drawing. You see this little plus sign here. I'm going to hold it and I'm going to look for drawing. So I can also add another drawing by simply pressing Control R. Why is Jack's Films here? So again, pressing Control R, that will add another drawing layer. It's going to ask you what you want it to be named. So I'm going to name it hat. What kind of hat should he be wearing? Let's make him a little top hat. Okay, let's make it a little dapper boy. Sure, why not? Give it a little, let's make it black. Ah, yes, watch me struggle for 10 minutes.
Yes, circle thing.
Okay, so let's say you're making a circle like this and it's going to take you a really, really long time to make it perfect. You're going to make a stroke and then hold Control. There you go. It will close it for you. And again, you're going to start drawing and then hold Control. So start drawing, hold Control, and then it will close it for you.
Wait. What?
Again?
Wait, that's too fast.
Oops, I pressed calculator by accident. Okay, again. I'm going to start drawing and then hold Control. Again, obviously it's not going to be perfect, but, you know, it gets the job done. Don't want to keep on trying to fix it. Okay, here's a little top hat part. And okay, so for the people that have kind of like an unsteady hand, for example, I don't really have that much of a steady hand compared to like a lot of different artists. So what I like to do is I can either like just make a line, for example this, and then I can just cut it and then fix it. Hacks. Or if you want, if you really have a shaky hand, there is actually a stabilizer. Yes, I was about to get into it. There are stabilizers for the drawings or for the tools. So you can, the reason why I didn't say it right away, because it's a bit hard to find. So I'm going to right click on this little top part here. It can be anywhere you want. So it can be here, it can be on this part area, but on particular, I like to have it near the camera. And I'm going to look for pen settings. So again, right click on your little bar here, and then look for pen settings. So you can move it around. I like to have this here, around this area. And then I can change my stabilizer. So right now I have it on average 15, but of course if you have a really shaky hand, you can make it to, sky's the limit really, 100's the limit. So as you can see, if I start drawing.
Wait, where's the pen setting?
Again? Okay.
Where's the pen setting?
So again, you have to right click. So let's take it off. Right click and then look for pen settings in the drop down menu. Make sure that it's checked and it will pop up. It was here earlier, so I just moved it to where I wanted it to be, which is right underneath this little house. Yes. So this is helpful for people that have a kind of a shaky hand. I usually have mine on 15 because it's not too much, but not too little. So if I had my stabilizer off, this is what it would look like. There you go. And for example, if you're cleaning up and you want it to be super clean, you can also use pulled string. So what that does is it has a little string in front of it that you can pull around. Yes, so that helps a lot for when you're doing cleanup. I prefer when I'm doing like turnarounds, etc. like that. I do it on TOONBOOM because it's easier to clean up for me. But again, everybody has their own preferences. I don't like this top hat. Hold on one moment. Okay, so sorry about that. Where am I? Where is the Discord? Here we go. Okay. So that's why as well I really recommend you guys using TOONBOOM Harmony, because all of my tricks are in TOONBOOM Harmony. So if you guys are using something else, obviously I will not be able to help you as much as I would want to. If you are using Flash though, I do know a bit of Flash, so if you want to use Flash, I can help you out with those as well. But again, I'm not as well versed as I am in Harmony. I'm just on this little top hat for like 15 minutes now. Okay. Just want him to be, I want him to be the cutest. Oh, wait, okay. The spinny thing. Oh, okay, sorry. I totally forgot. To rotate the canvas, you can simply hold Control Alt, and that lets you rotate the canvas. Again, the shortcut key for that is Control plus Alt. There you go. And then let's say you want to go back to normal. You press Shift M and it reverts back to whatever the camera is seen. Wherever the camera is placed. Again, that is Shift plus M. There is a list of the compiled commands, and I can give you a link to that after the class. I'll send it over and I'll actually pin it in our chats so that you guys don't have to keep on looking for it. Let's make his top out even taller. Why not? Give him the tallest boy. Dimmadome. I don't know how to say the name. If somebody can say the name, they can. Go wild. Well, I draw this. So most of our lessons is going to be me talking while I'm working. So I really appreciate it when you guys are, when I'm talking, or like, let's say I'm doing drawings and I'm just doing like in-betweens or posing, stuff like that. I really do appreciate if you guys do talk as well so that I have conversation. As well as you guys have something.
Dog Dimmadome. Dimsdale Dimmadome.
Dang, you guys really. You guys can say it. So you'll notice now naiiwan yung hat niya because I have not drawn a drawing for this yet. So, for these particular stuff, I'm going to boop. Oops. Do you want to save your work now? Yes, I would want to save my little Kerbo. Okay. I'm going to draw the hat again. Boop. Yeah, so do you guys have any questions so far? Okay, so storyboard is used for, it's in the name, storyboard, storyboarding in particular. So we're not going to be using that for this term, for this subject in particular. However, it's good that you already downloaded it. It's good that you already downloaded it. Like, whenever I tell people to download Harmony, you might as well download storyboard as well, just so that it's isang bagsak ka na. At least you have the program.
We're gonna do actual storyboarding.
This term for this class, no. If you do want to do storyboarding, we can go over it for your finals. Like, we can add that into your finals if you want to.
What's wrong, Francis? You afraid? I can hear I can sense sarcasm in that statement.
So there you go. You have this little Kerbo moving. And now I'm going to start using the filling in the character. So I'm very particular with how I color in my characters. And of course, this is not for everybody. But since you guys are in my class, I expect it to be clean. So, for example, I'm going to color in my little Kerbo. So he's going to be a light pink. Let's give him a light little, almost Kirby pink, but not right. Yeah, that's about it. That's about it. That's a Kirby.
Some frames, it looks like a Chinese knockoff.
Exactly. That's the point. A nice, good, almost quite Kirby, but not. Okay. Okay. So now, I'm going to color this in, but I'm not going to do it na basta-basta. I can simply, like, for example, I fill this in like this. I could do it like that on the same layer. However, I'm not going to be doing it this way. You'll notice in the drawing next to the camera, there are two layers, the line art and the color art. For the line art, I want my line art to only have the line art, and my color art to only have the colors. So this is just so that one, you guys get used to having your line art and your color art separated. Two, it's easier to fix up. So let's say you have a mistake on your line art. It's easier to fix that up than having to recolor everything, because everything is in one layer, or in one in one line art layer. Do you guys understand? Yes, no. I'll go in more depth if you guys, okay. So, to show you guys visually what I am talking about, I'm going to, you see there is a little tab next to the camera. I am going to press the drawing. So you'll see, you'll see on my line art layer, I have little line art drawings. In my color art, if I switch to that, wala siyang laman. It's all white. Because my Kerbo is on the line art layer. So I want to color this in with like light mode. I want to color this in with my color. However, if I try to fill this in, I cannot, because there's nothing inside of it. In order to get something inside of it, I'm going to press this little button on top, right next to the light bulb. There's going to have little strokes. So you'll see these little blue lines. These are invisible lines. So once I fill this in, let's fill them in. It will look as if he's colored in. However, my line art and my color art are separate. So again, in other it's not very hard to do. However, it's very easy. It's very easy to forget and just color on the line art. So I usually, whenever I'm doing my colors, I usually have my I always double check my drawing layer just to make sure that everything is, or the things that I'm coloring are correct. And again, I'm pressing this little button here. Boop. There. So now he's colored in. I'm gonna go in with his feet now. They should be like a... I'm going off of memory as well as trying to make it a bit more knockoff Kirby feel. There you go. So for example, this one, the gap is too big for me to fill. How am I going to do this? I'm simply going to hold my paint tool, and I'm going to look for stroke. So what stroke is basically the invisible line that I was mentioning earlier. Oops, sorry, that's not it. Stroke. Here you go. So that is the invisible line that I was mentioning earlier. Boop. Boop. There. And then I'm going to fill this in. So instead of changing my tool, I'm going to hold I. Boop. So now I can do again. I'm going to add a stroke. You'll notice that I'm trying to add a stroke so that there is those little blue lines here. That just means they're intersecting. And then again, I'm going to hold I to fill. There you go. So the same thing here. Since this is not closed, I'm going to make a stroke, making sure that the line that I make is intersecting. Boop, boop, boop. And when we're doing, is it possible to add more layers? Yes, that it is. And I will show you guys in a bit. Is there a color wheel? Okay, so for this one, if you want to have a color wheel, there is no color wheel like yung parang sa sai. It's more of like this. So magtitimpla ka talaga. Color soup. Yes. And what's nice about TOONBOOM is, let's say I don't like the color of his feet. You know what? I don't like the color of his feet. I don't like it. I want it to be a bit more lighter. It will change every color that is that color. So you don't need, say I wanted it to be more of a lighter pink. There you go. Every 10 seconds. This is just the basic stuff. I still haven't gone through more of the advanced things, just because I just want you guys to get familiar with the tools that I'm using, because you guys will be using that particularly a lot. So things like filling in, etc., I want you guys to get used to it, because you will be doing that a lot. And again, with this hat, I'll do the same thing. So for my little top hat, what color should it be? Like a dark greenish color, maybe? Purple? Purple it is. Okay. Dark purple. So I'm not going to take too long. I'm just going to speed through this. To scrub through your drawings, let's say you want to scrub through each drawing. I can do everything frame by frame by pressing the greater than and less than keys. I don't know what they're, I'm not sure if that's the right one. But these keys here, this one, these keys, that's to go through each frame by frame. And then, yeah, like Flash. However, if you want to go to a specific drawing, that is, so let's say for here, that is, oops, G to go forward, and then F to go back. So you'll see it is skipping to the next drawing right away, instead of me having to press each frame. So again, F to go backwards, G to go forwards. Are you guys following so far? Okay, so what happened to my little Kirby? Or Kerbo? His hat is on top of his face. So his hat is on top of his face. To fix this, it's very, very simple. I'm just gonna move my hat behind Kerbo. And there you go. So when I export this, first thing I'm gonna do though, he is way too big. Hold up. He too big for this world. I'm just making him a bit more small. There you go. Okay, so when I render this, he's a small boy now. Yes, he is. Where's the chonk? Well, he's small now. There's nothing we can do. This is just an example, guys. I'm just showing off the tools. This is not how I animate. Okay. So, to export this, you first need to add a color card. Did the weight line stay the same? Yes. Good. No, nice. I like that you noticed that, Vincent. Or Neptune, sorry. If you notice, the lines stayed the same even though yeah, especially here it broke. But even though I just resized it, his little face is broken. He on something else. Let's fix it. I don't like that. Did not like that one bit. Let's go. Okay, so let's say you want to change something or get a color. You can simply hold D for the dropper to get that color. And then I can use that. I don't like this. He broken. Yeah, this is fine. Okay, this ain't fine. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. This curvy hit different. There you go. Okay. What was I saying? I got distracted. Okay. So for me to export this, before I do anything else, if I check the render view, the background is going to be black. So there's nothing behind him. So usually we add color cards. So we're going to press this little plus button and add color card. Oops, close. Add color card. Bam. Oops, what the hell? Add color card. Bam. There you go. And now he has a white background. So those are just basic stuff that we need to know moving forward, because we will be animating a lot and exporting a lot of different stuff. Yeah, Kirby gasp. Really, you are? Okay. You know what? Let's make him loop. So I'm simply just gonna drag this. There you go. So this is a little, there you go. Hold up one second. Boop. Hello? Why is it not? What? Why is it not working? Sorry, I am just fixating on this little Kerbo now. There you go. he So even if this was just like 3 frames, there's the squash and stretch already. Like, even subconsciously I wasn't thinking about doing it. There's already the 12 principles are applied. So I think the only thing that I didn't get to apply is solid drawing. So for example, he's very big here and he's very small here. So those are the downsides of, again, that was straight ahead animation. Not even animation. This is just like a... Okay, I can't make it an emote because I do not have Nitro. So somebody who has Nitro can do that. Anyway, so I'm done with this. I'm going to export. I'm going to save this as a movie first, just to show off what that looks like. Export movie. Okay, do not mind that. Don't mind that. That is... Boop. You didn't see anything, guys. Save. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to name this Kerbo Sad. And then I'm going to export. Boop, 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 doo, doo, doo. Okay. And on my desktop, it should be there. Yes, they can export as an SWF, so you can send it to Flash if you want to. You can dance if you want to. You can shake your thing. And of course, I can also make this into a GIF. Animate a GIF. Boop, boop, boop. Desktop. Kerbo. Sad. And then, okay. Do, 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 do. Okay. So, earlier someone asked, somebody asked where, if you can add more layers for your drawing. So actually you can. No, his name is Kerbosad. So if I were to make this more seriously, I would have, you know, properly made the volume right. Yeah, someone keeps on interrupting his combo. Okay, anyway, I'm getting sidetracked again. And I forgot that I did have this here. Okay. Boop. Can you guys see me? Okay. Okay. So, for example, you want your Kirby to have like a tattoo or something on top of him. Or maybe, you know, I don't know, a little belly boy. But you already used your, you don't want it to add it to, yeah, little belly boy. You don't want to add it to your line art, or you don't want to add it to your color art. You can simply, sorry, you can actually add more layers to this, but there's only 4. So I'm going to go to Edit, Preferences, and I'm going to go to Advanced, and I'm going to check support overlay and underlay arts. Press OK. And now I should have 4 layers. Okay? Are you guys following so far? For the person who asked as well. 4 layers. Yes. And I mean 4 layers, that's all I really need. If you have any more drawings, for example, you can just add more drawings. So for example, for this little hat, I could have just put it in his little one of these layers, but I didn't. Okay, don't worry, Pat. I will go over it again. So again, in preferences, you want to go to the advanced tab and make sure support overlay and underlay arts is checked. Press OK, and now you should have 4 layers instead of just 2. Earlier there was just line art and color art. Now there's overlay, line art, color art, and underlay. Okay? Yes, those are extra layers. So for example, let's make him a little belly boy. Let's give him a little belly. A little belly button. Let's give him a little belly button. He is gonna look so weird with this little belly button. So, instead of putting it on the line art or the color art, I'm going to put it on the overlay. Let's give him a little, you know. He got an outie. He got an outie. He got an outie. So now, if I wanted to, let's say I wanted to manipulate just the overlay, I can, I can by just selecting itself. And let's say I want to just change the line art. Like I want to give him a little bit of a style. Like have the line art moved a little. Something like that. You can. So that is up to you. And again, it gives you a lot more options. That's why I like having my line art and my color art separate. I always do that even in my own, just like personal works, just because it's easier to do. Or easier to fix around. There you go. He has a little belly button. Don't make fun of him because it's an outie. You can barely see it, actually. So I want to make it a bit more darker. Oh no, that looks dirty. It looks like he has like a dirty belly button. There you go. There you go. Okay. Save. So guys, do you have any questions so far? I haven't gone with anything about animation yet. This is just the shading. Okay, shading. If you wanted to add shading, you can. Again, I'd probably put it over in the overlay. And then I'd probably make it so that, okay. This is a bit more complicated. I can add opacity. So let's say I make it purple. I'll add some opacity, make it a bit darker, and then I'll just use a brush. Make sure that auto flatten is on. If it's not on, you will see those each individual strokes. However, if you have it on, it will go away. So shading. Usually though, for shading, I already have it. You usually plan it out first before you do anything. So if you plan to have shading on your character, it's best to have it planned out first. And I'll go into detail a bit more with your, if let's say you have animations, your character animations that you want to have shading with. Because right now this is a bit messy, and I don't really like it being messy. Does TOONBOOM have a clipping option? Yes, it does, but it's a bit more advanced than I should teach you guys, because you might get a bit confused with what I'm doing. So I could teach you that, but maybe a bit more into the future. Because this is also just basic animation, so I don't want it to be, again, I don't want to confuse you guys. You might get a bit confused that it's so advanced in some parts. So that's more technical. But yes, you can do that. You can do clipping stuff on Harmony. I'm gonna make his face like, how could you do this to him? He trusted you. Yeah, see, I think that's for a different layer. Yeah. Something like that. And again, I didn't make it too clean. If I wanted this to be more clean, I would have plotted it out first. By plotting it out, I would have made lines. So, for example, if you've seen some anime or like works in progress of animes, they actually have every single line or every single shade planned out first. So that's what I am pertaining to. I would have planned out my shading first instead of having to go over it like this, just so that I don't have things like this where there are things overlapping and stuff. It's not that hard. Don't worry, it's not that hard. It's just that you have to keep that in mind. If you want to have shading in your animations, you would have to plot it out first. A little bit. It depends. It depends on how much detail you put in it. How to make a soft shade? Well, that's simple. That's not that advanced. Don't worry, Neptune. Neptune, it's fine. You can simply use a soft brush. So I think it's called soft lead. And you can use that one instead. There you go. So if you want a softer shading, you can do that as well. But again, this is what I wouldn't recommend, just because it's too, you would take a longer time to clean it up, rather than if you had it planned out, you could have just paint fill everything. Okay, so I'm done with that boy. And, okay. So you guys have any more to ask me? Not yet. Nothing yet. I'm hungry. We're almost done. Don't worry. One hour left, yes. when you see a Kirby move. Yeah, so this is just, again, I just went over simple stuff. Eldon, it should be. I am teaching you guys. Again, if you have any more questions, guys, please let me know so I can tell you before we move on to the next step. Or the next tool that I will be introducing you guys. Okay, so this one as well, it's a bit more advanced. It will take, I would have to introduce to you guys the node view. And right now I've kind of been avoiding it because we don't really need it right now. So that's a bit more advanced. And I'd probably teach that maybe later on if we have extra time, or if we have extra, or if you guys are a bit more advanced. If not, then I can always teach it. If you guys really want to know, I can teach it to you guys like off hours, off our classes, like one-on-one. Okay. So we're also going to be using, ang tinatawag na X sheet. So X sheet is usually for, this is usually used for traditional or paperless animations. This is to keep track of your drawings, your main key drawings, etc., etc. And again, I'm probably going to go over this when I'm teaching the timing more. That will be next lesson. Just because, again, this lesson is just getting to know the interface so you guys don't get overwhelmed with information all at once. Okay. So, I am going to look for the X sheet. So, you see these little plus signs? I can add the X sheet wherever there is a little plus sign. So I can add it here, 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 wherever I want. So I'm just going to add it to here. And I'm going to look for X sheet. So it's all the way at the bottom. And what this does, it's basically showing me my drawings. So it's basically the timeline. But you can see how long this is extended for, etc., etc. And I can actually move this around. So you can do this for any type of tab if you didn't want it to be here. Let's say you want your X sheet to be over here underneath my face. I can do that. Yeah, it's like an Excel sheet, but it's an X sheet. So you can do that for any tab as well. So let's say, for example, I usually like having my drawings next to my camera. So I can see, oops, for example, this, if I'm drawing on my line art, I know that I am on my line art. Or if I'm drawing on my color art, I know that I'm on my color art. So you can move things around to your liking. It doesn't have to stay as the default setting. And whenever you open up TOONBOOM again, it will remember how you set it. So you don't have to keep on setting it over and over again. Why is it? Oops, where's the...
How do you reset it?
Okay, so do you want to reset your... Hold up. Why is the... that's weird. Okay. Oops. Where'd it go? Boop. So let's say you want to reset this to the default. Like you moved a whole bunch of stuff around and you don't like that, right? Let's say I moved this here. I deleted everything. Let's say I deleted everything. You know what? Say goodbye to everything. There. Let's say you deleted everything. I can't delete everything. It won't let me. But let's say you want to reset this. You simply go to Windows, Workspace. Windows, Restore Default Workspace. And it will just restore it for you. Boop. Goes back to normal. And boop, okay. There are other workspaces as well. So if you notice here, this little drop-down menu, there is hand-drawn, compositing, animating, and scripting. So let's say I go to hand-drawn. Oops. Okay, let's see. Do, 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 do. So this is what the hand-drawn looks like. So I was setting it up for mine to be a bit more kind of closer to this-ish, but I kind of don't like how this is set up because I can't extend my timeline here. And even though I like having the X sheet, I'm not particularly fond with this kind of setup. So I usually just use the default and then manipulate it to how I like it. But again, if you guys want to try using the presets as well, that is totally up to you. You guys can do that. Okay, so again, I have my drawing here, and again, I'm going to press this little plus sign for my X sheet. And I'm going to, so that you guys can see me. What? I don't like that. I'm probably going to look for an app that can make my camera just stay on top. Why? Why did it do that? Here you go. So that I don't have to keep on doing this. Question so far, guys? Or is everything clear? There you go. No questions yet. Yeah, so there are some things here on the X sheet that you can see. For example, these on top. I will go into more depth of them once we start doing the animation stuff, because these are more related to animation things, and when we start animating. So you also see that there are red marks. So that just means I have edited that drawing in particular and I have not saved yet. Yes. So there is a a link. I'm going to put links there once I have the recordings up. Oops. There you go. And there you go. Okay, so it just shows you, so the X sheet is just the timeline, but in an Excel format. So this is what they used for traditional animation, and if you guys were going to go through that, you guys would have used this for when you use the pencil and paper. For particularly in what's that called? Flipnote, I think that's what it was used to, or monkey something. I don't remember particularly the Monkey Jam. There you go. Monkey Jam is the one. The one on the DS. I don't remember the name for it. I'm sorry. Monkey Jam. Monkey Jam is the one. So Monkey Jam is used for scanning, timing, and stuff. Stuff for particular. So again, I'm going to save this. So it'll show you as well. Let's say for number 1 is the first drawing that I made. Number 2 is the second, then third. Fifth. There you go. Etc. etc. And again, I'll explain how to use the X sheet once we start animating. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys the activity that I will be sending you guys. If I can remember where I put it, though. Desktop. Not to that one. Sorry, I'm looking for it real quick just to show you guys the TOONBOOM file. Yeah. Okay. So this is what I'm going to be sending you guys as a exercise. And again, this is pretty simple. Just follow the instructions. So select the tool, brush tool, and sketch a character. You can use something textured if you want, anything really. That's not Tom. That's one of my characters from me and my friend made. Though it looks like Tom. He is inspired by Tom. So again, draw using the pencil tool, things like that. So this is the stamp tool, and again, the stamp tool is pretty simple. So if I go to the tool properties, and you can't see my face, hold up, boop, there you go. Yeah, that's basically it. The stamp tool, you'll see here as well. You'll also see that there's a lot of different drawings. So you'll have to go through each one. So you have to select it first. For example, this one, before I can move down. I want to change the drawing. Boop, boop, boop. Small tree. So you'll also see I utilized different layers for this. So again, I'm going to go to the clean up layer first. Boop. So you'll see that there is a sketch and you have to clean this up. So for example, I'm going to clean this up first. Does it have to be in TOONBOOM, the activity? Oh, okay. So particularly for the people that aren't going to be using TOONBOOM, I guess you'll just have to. So I'm going to be sending na lang a PNG or a JPEG of this, and you guys will just follow along. But for the people that are going to use TOONBOOM, it's best if you use the activity itself. Okay? So 10. So for example, this 15. So for example, this line, I want it to be more like this. So how do I make that kind of tapered look? That very soft or very harsh looking look, where it's going from big to small. Yes, so we're going to, in my tool properties, I'm going to look for pencil editor, or you can simply press 8. So 8 will go to the pencil editor, and you can blow this up to like, let's say 20, I think would be good. Actually 25. Okay, no, there you go. And then make it super small and do the same thing for here. So I can just delete this. Do that as well. And then, of course, fix this up. So I'm just cleaning everything up, making sure everything is touching together. And again, I'm going to go with my pencil tool. It's okay, again, it's okay if my lines are overlapping, because then I can just go over it with the eraser or the cutter. Ayan. Are you guys following so far? Yeah, so basically just follow the rules. For the cutter tool, so I'm going to go to the cutter tool here. Make sure to select that drawing. The cutter tool that we're using is actually the thing that that I was teaching earlier, which was holding T. However, you can also just use Alt T to select the tool first. So Alt T is to use the Alt T. Alt plus T. There you go. That is mine. Okay. So this activity is super simple lang. It's just to go over the tools again. Okay. So, for this one, okay. Make sure I am using this one. Okay. Next week, but Again, this is very super simple lang. It doesn't have to be super complicated, whatever you do. Like, it can just be as simple as this, as long as you guys are using the tools. As well. Like, for example, this one. Okay. So these are things, let's say, for example, this one. I'll go over real quick. Control. So for this one, let's say there are parts of him that are not colored in and you want to color them in all at once. So I'm going to select this color by holding D and then clicking so I get that color. And then with my paint tool, I'm going to choose paint unpainted. And then I'm just going to lasso tool. And it will paint all of the unpainted areas for me. So this is very useful for when you have, let's say, a character with with a lot of spots and stuff like this, and you haven't colored them all in yet, and you want to color them all in. Say, for example, ayan. These are all uncolored. Color them in. Simple as that, by lasso tooling it, and it's colored in. Yeah, so this one, it's very self-explanatory, I think, as well. It also has the what's this called? Instructions up top, so you guys can follow through. But if you guys are having trouble with it, I can explain it to you if you are. So, edit gradient texture tool. I didn't teach this yet. You can find it underneath the contour editor, edit gradient. So when I select, you have to make sure that when you select this, it has a gradient on it, or else it won't work. For example, things that don't have gradients, they will not be able to obviously change. So for example, this one, I want to make it as close as possible to the reference. So I can change the way this is, I can change how big and small it is. But I kind of think it's this way and up. And this as well. So you can create gradients like this inside your palette as well. Where is this? Here you go. For example, I want to change my Kirby. Make him a bit more... I don't want this. I don't want you anymore. So, let's say I don't want to make him rainbow. That's too much. However, let's say I want to make him have a gradient. And I want to fix this gradient. Dark Kirby. let's say I want to fix this gradient. I can simply go to the edit gradient texture and fix him up. Oops. I want him to look like he has a little. Burnt Kirby. No, he's not burnt. Don't make fun of him, guys. No, now he is burnt. Okay. He's doing his best, yo. Verse from Shakespeare. Okay. So what's nice about this is I can actually copy paste this gradient, or the what I edited onto this gradient, into this arm here. So if I press Ctrl V, ayun. It's the same as this one now. And I can do the same for this. So for this one, there you go. And of course, unlimited amounts of, let's say you want to add more to this. You can if you wanted to. Like you wanted to add another color. Sure. Go ahead. It's unlimited. As many as you can fit, you can if you want. Yes. So that's what's nice about TOONBOOM as well. I know for Flash you can't do this. Like you can't copy the gradients thing. Or at least I don't know how to do it. And if somebody does know, that would be great. Okay. So that's what you would be doing. Okay. Also, what's nice about TOONBOOM, before I move on, is let's say I want to get a color from the outside world, the outside of the program. You can do that as well. Let's say I want to change this little dapper hat to like my hair color. I can do that. Sure, I could make it into my hair color if I wanted. I can make it into my skin color if I wanted. I can make it into this little lolly boy. Not Lolly, sorry. Forgot his name. That's not Lolly, though. Yep. So, the program does not limit you to whatever you have in TOONBOOM. You can do it. You can use the drop. Dropper on anything that you want. Even on itself. Even on TOONBOOM itself. Do that as well. But I liked my little hat color, so I'm going to keep it that way. Uh-oh. I freaked my computer out. There you go. So it's just nice to know when you have, like, let's say you have a character sheet that you want to follow, you can simply take those colors directly from the drawing itself instead of having to import it into TOONBOOM. You guys have any questions so far? Anybody questions so far? Because I think I think we could be done for today. We'll be sending you guys all the stuff that you need. Miss Wida, would it be okay if we end early? 30 minutes early lang.